Is it because I didn't make my payment on my Ford Bronco? Ford shut down my car?
Okay, one of the patents is for microphones in the vehicle to listen to passenger conversations so they know how to market ads to you. And other companies can buy into this.
Ford's out here filing patents to repossess your truck while you're still driving it, firing loyal employees over a $2 cookie, and building oil pumps that run on what's basically a rubber band from your junk drawer. This is what happens when a car company forgets how to build cars, but somehow never forgets how to disappoint you. Let's get into it. All right, let's kick this one off with a claim so wild it sounds fake, except it's not. Listen to this guy explain how his brand new Bronco just stopped working in the middle of highway traffic.
Is it because I didn't make my payment on my Ford Bronco? Ford shut down my car because the payment is late? Dang, that's rough. That's like a scam, right? So my brand new Bronco with 3,000 miles on it is broke down in the middle of... I don't think Ford realizes how rough it is out here. Doing my best. I mean, I could be killed. I'm in like 60-mile-an-hour traffic here. My truck, broken. I could be killed. Expressway. So, hey, look, divine providence. You gotta listen, because sometimes when God speaks, it's not all what you want it to be, you know what I mean? This probably saved me from a really bad accident, but anyway, Ford Bronco, number one, 75 grand, middle 275, shut down and completely broken and busted.
Getting stranded at 60 miles an hour because your own truck decided you're a credit risk is genuinely terrifying. And here's the thing. This isn't even conspiracy theory, because Ford actually filed a patent back in 2021 for exactly this kind of remote disable system, one that lets a lender kill your AC, radio, and door locks the moment you fall behind.
Ford, 2 years ago, applied for a patent that's going to allow them to be able to repossess your electric vehicle. So all of you out there that have electric vehicles, if you get behind on your payments, Ford's going to be able to turn off the radio, the windows, the air conditioning, the heating, and if you get 90 days past due with their patent they already applied for 2 years ago, by the way, 2021, they applied for this patent, that if you get 90 days past due, that their system will allow the car to drive itself back to the bank. So for all of you electric car lovers out there, better be making your payment, because Ford's going to repo it.
A car quietly plotting its own escape route back to the bank because you missed a payment is the kind of plot twist nobody wants in real life. Now, if you thought remote shutoffs were bad, buckle up, because this next guy's found something even creepier buried in Ford's patent filings. Listen to him lay out exactly why your car might be listening to every conversation you have inside it.
Technology is about to take a terrifying turn for the worst. If you all have not heard about it, Ford Motor Company has filed multiple patents that have a lot of people concerned, okay? One of the patents is for microphones in the vehicle to listen to passenger conversations so they know how to market ads to you. And other companies can buy into this so they know how to market ads to you based on the private conversations you're having in your car. Now, I don't know about you, but no part of that is okay with me. Ford Motor Company has already filed this patent. It's not a myth. It's not a conspiracy. They filed the patent. They do not have it in any vehicles yet that we know of, right? Obviously, you know, there's always that conspiracy that they're listening to us all the time through our phones and everything else. But other patents have been filed that are causing just as much concern, okay? They're talking about this new feature in the electronics of the car that would be for law enforcement. So like say if you had a warrant out for your arrest, any car registered to your name, they can just turn it off, all right? You're in a high-speed chase as a criminal, they can just turn your car off. And while, yes, in theory, those have great applications. If you're a criminal, you deserve to have your car turned off. You know, if they're looking for you and they need to arrest you, great, your vehicle doesn't work. That's awesome, okay? But where it can be used for the dark side is, you talk about a police state type situation. We see it in movies and TV shows, and we read about it in books that it could possibly happen. Could it really happen? Imagine in a world where you didn't want to conform to a rule, or you wanted to go off grid, or what have you. They could just turn your car off. Maybe in the future they'll introduce permits that you have to have, kind of like how in China, in other parts of the country or other parts of the world, you have to have permits to have a vehicle, and you can only drive that vehicle on certain days or times. They could control these types of things in that type of future with that technology, and that's a scary thought to have. It's how would you feel if they told you, oh hey, the climate's getting pretty bad, so you can only drive your cars Monday through Fridays from this time to this time, or you can only use your vehicle to go to work and from work. Outside of that time, we're just going to turn your car off. Because that's the possibilities that they would be able to control those types of things. Guys, these patents are out there. It is not not a myth. I mean, they filed this stuff. You can look these patents up for yourself. Another creepy one is what's called the snitch interceptor. This patent was actually filed in 2023, and it would be for a camera to be inside of your vehicle at all times that could actually record if you were speeding, if you ran a stop sign, if you ran a red light. It would essentially just snitch on you all the time, and they would just send tickets right to your house or arrest you, what have you, however they want to handle that situation. They could see if you were driving recklessly, and they could actually slow your car down or make it come to a stop. Then it would alert the police of where that car is to come get you. I'm not kidding. It's the snitch interceptor 2023 patent that was filed. Okay, I feel like this is a big overstepping of bounds. Okay, like that is too much private. I mean, you're talking about microphones in your own car, cameras in your own car. Like, there would be no privacy in your own vehicle technically. Like, what? Once again, the reason why they're saying that these applications are needed are if somebody gets behind the wheel drunk or behind the wheel, smoking, or they see that you're texting and, while you're driving or you're distracted, it can use AI features in the camera. They say that no live person will be watching the camera or listening to the microphones. It's going to be AI technology. So if you're talking about, oh, I'm drunk and I'm driving, it would just turn the car off and it would report you to the police right away. It would make you come to a stop and slow down. Like, it would... I see what they're saying. The applications, in theory, are great and all, okay? But let's face it, we know how the government works. We know how the world works. I see that as a sneaky way to put some big brother technology in our stuff and us just be okay with it. And I am not okay with it.
While Ford insists none of this is going into production, when you're filing patents for eavesdropping microphones and self-repossessing trucks in the same few years, you start to understand why people aren't exactly reassured. Listen to this mechanic absolutely lose it trying to change the starter on a 2019 Ford Ranger.
Look what we got, man. I just mentioned this. 2019 Ford Ranger. Wonderful piece of vehicle. Look at it. Big XLT Ranger. You'd think there'd be a 460 in this, but it's got a 2.3 turbo, which is completely knocking like crazy. And I got to take it out. Nowhere to get torque converter bolts out. Look what you got to do. You got to remove that starter way up underneath everything right there. You ain't changing that starter in a pinch. They'll ban this video, but I don't give a Look at this. Starter is right there. You see the light on it? It's buried up under there. What a bird of an engineering plan, right where the oil filter is, which is shrouded up against the inner fender. Who the thinks this shit up like this? What kind of mechanic-hating piece of shit thinks this up? I've never seen nothing like this before. It's the worst one yet. How do you get the exhaust undone? You gotta with this shit, rust it to no way to get it off. It's all shrouded with heat protective coating to get the turbo out of the way. What a piece of what kind of asshole would put this together? They didn't intend for nobody to fix it. There's no way to get it apart. You have to fight everything off. I got to take the intake off to get to this mount, which has coolant lines passing through it up here. This how slick and smart these assholes are. You see that? You got to dig all that out and then take the intake off, take this off, stick a 2x4 up the oil pan's ass so that you can get the goddamn starter out, then fight in there to get the torque converter bolts undone. Isn't that wildly awesome? Yeah, I'd love to own this.
Watch this guy explain how Ford turned replace a fan into a full afternoon surgical procedure on a Ford Escape.
When I tell you these Ford Escapes are the biggest piece of shit you could ever buy, here's another reason why. So, first reason, if you want to remove this dash, do any HVAC work, you have to pull the doors because the bolts go in through the outside here. Here's the other reason. Ford likes to over-engineer shit. And I tell you, A blower motor that can simply be changed from the driver's side had they just changed a couple minor things. Instead, they have you remove the BCM, the glove box, all these brackets, remove the wiring down out of the way, and then get the recirc door out of the way, which has 3 screws on it that 2 of them are almost impossible to see. And then you have to go from the driver's side, push in on the locking tab, twist lock this blower motor, and then push it into the airbox and remove it from the passenger side. Just over-engineered garbage.
Ford's engineers seem to save their real creativity not for the driving experience, but for finding new and inventive ways to make their own vehicles nearly impossible to fix.
So, you own a Ford Transit van, and you want to put a shock on it. No big deal, right? Just like any old car. 3 bolts up there I gotta get. But where are they? They're not in there, I can guarantee that. Come this way. Well, normally it's a 3-hour job. It's turned into a day. So go ahead and remove your dash, your shifter, all this junk in the center. And then, once you remove the fuse box or whatever it was that was under here, you now have access to these fucks. Oh god. You can't even see them. That's how fucking ruined it is. There's one way back in there. Yeah, well, there's 3 of them you gotta get to, just to get the strut out.
Now let's take a break from garage horror stories, because it turns out Ford's talent for over-engineering isn't limited to their cars. It apparently extends to HR too.
So this 60-year-old engineer at Ford was fired after being falsely accused of stealing a cookie. You see, Kurt Crom has worked at Ford for over 11 years and is diabetic. One night during his overnight shift, he saw that his blood sugar was getting dangerously low, so he went to the break room to go get a cookie. Now, he tried to pay for the cookie on one of those self-checkout kiosks, but it didn't work for some reason, so he tried on a different one, and it did work. On security footage, though, it seemed like as if he stole it, so when Ford saw it, they called him into the office and fired him, asking no questions. They didn't ask for his side of the story or anything. They had security escort him right out of the office. The thing is, though, Kurt quite literally makes $200,000 a year and spent $1,200 last year on the canteen and Diet Cokes alone. So in reality, he has no reason to steal. Kurt would even show them the proof of bank transactions that shows the $2 purchase he made for the cookie and ultimately proved the company wrong. They did offer him his job back, but he declined, and soon enough found a different place that actually even offered him a pay raise. Even though he gave them over a decade's years of worth to Ford, he was only worth a $2 cookie.
And somehow, the company that engineers trucks capable of towing 14,000 pounds couldn't be bothered to check a receipt before firing a diabetic employee for buying a snack during a blood sugar crash.
Here at Ford, we designed this shifter that we spent thousands of dollars to engineer because we know that our blue-collar customers can't go a full work shift without gooning at least once. So we made sure that we gave a place for them to put their laptop. Like we said, we spent a lot of money designing this shifter, but we needed to make sure that they could still put their laptop on their center console. Meanwhile, we completely ditched this timeless design that was honestly perfect, where we put the shifter on the steering column, where you actually had an entirely flat space and a third seat.
Redesigning a perfectly good column shifter just to free up desk space for a laptop is a wild flex from a company that apparently values your Zoom meetings more than giving your third passenger somewhere to sit. And it's honestly the kind of decision that makes you wonder who exactly Ford thinks their average truck buyer is doing office work in the driver's seat. Watch this guy break down why replacing one small $20 part on Ford's 3.5 and 3.7-liter engines turns into a $1,500 bill.
Reasons why Ford sucks. This is an issue on any Ford that has the 3.5 or the 3.7. Every car at some point in its life is going to need a water pump. The issue is that with these motors, Ford made it unbelievably hard to work on. To do this, you have to remove a lot of parts, which include the upper intake, the valve cover, the coils, the PCV lines, the fuel lines, the coolant reservoir, the engine mount, the serpentine belt, which is down below the serpentine tensioner, and then you can remove the timing cover, which will get you to the timing chain and the water pump. Once it's all taken apart, it looks like this. This is what the water pump looks like, and this is the weep hole that the coolant leaks through to the outside of the motor. Because I took it to a shop, it cost $1,581.75.
Listen to this guy discover that Ford decided the oil pump deserves to be run off a tiny, wet rubber belt.
So I've got here a 2018 F-150, and this thing's got the 2.7 liter V6. And of course, we're replacing an engine oil pan on this thing because they always leak and they're one-time use pans, so you gotta buy a new pan every time you remove the old one. But check out this crazy thing right here. So we've got right here, this is the oil pickup. So this part of the oil pan, it fits into this right here on the oil pump. But if you follow the oil pump, they put a rubber belt to drive the oil pump. What in the world is this right here? If this little belt right here ever breaks on you, there goes your oil pressure and there goes your engine. And of course, you're not going to be able to replace that belt without taking apart the whole front of the engine, including the front timing chain. This just seems like such a cheap, cheesy design.
And it's not just internet paranoia either, because this exact wet belt design has triggered a federal investigation and a class action lawsuit after owners reported the belt shredding apart and starving the engine of oil with almost zero warning.
I just saw the Ford CEO complaining that there's 6,000 bays with no technician. Yeah, no bruh. Every dealership's making like $200 an hour off of those guys, and those guys are only seeing like $19 or $20 an hour maybe. And then they have to pay for their tools, and they got a freaking $20,000 toolbox, which you don't need to do. They did that to themselves, but still, it's not the point. No one wants to work for these companies anymore. No one wants to be a labor slave. Like, that's why you don't have techs, bro.
So guys, I just want to discuss a little issue in my life right now. There's something was really bad that's annoying me, and it's BT50 Ford Rangers 3.2 litres. Now, this is the oil pump out of one, okay? And everybody wants to know why they fail. Now, look at that. It ate shit, all right? Now, the weird thing was, it was serviced at the dealership, not in Townsville, of course, but somewhere else. But that was in there. I took the oil filter out, and that was in there. Anyway, this oil pump ate shit, and I just wanted to discuss with you guys. Like, I've been a mechanic a long time. I remember in 2014 the cars come out, and if you let them drain over lunch, I always did, and I never had a problem with oil pickup. But then when they got older, and then some people said it wasn't 2014, it wasn't 2014 year, and then people were, oh my god, they lose oil pressure when you have a service. Do you ever think there was an issue with the pump? But the dealerships, or Ford and Mazda, I don't give a fuck who made the motor right now, Ford didn't want to replace and do a recall for every goddamn oil pump on the planet because they can't build shit. But instead, they made it your problem. It should have been a recall. Now, a lot of mechanics are probably going to be like, nah, mate, nah, it was definitely not. It shouldn't have been a recall. It should have been. People say, oh, they didn't put the bypass valve in there. And all this other bullshit. Guys, how about we just call it what it is? All they did was 3.2 litre. You should be able to do a service. And you know what? I really feel like the dealerships just love doing a 15-minute service to make a bulk money out of you guys. That's what I think it was. Because I still service them for a hour. When Riley first started, he's like, I'm done. I'm like, what the was that? He's like, you got 15 minutes to do it. I'm like, dude, chill your boat, bros. You got all the time in the world. It's never happened to me, and it's not going to happen to you, all right? Oh, I've seen it before. I said, don't stress, bro. I don't know if you've been in other places and they use shit oil, but it's never happened. This car come in with oil pressure, light on, and turbo going, whoop! And I'm like, turbo, whoop! Oh, it's probably just a turbo. Turns out, yeah, it was, because the oil pump fucking shit itself.